And let's turn once again to our Anita Bathe, who's live in Victoria tonight with BC's Finance Minister Carole James. Anita?
Thanks, Mike. Minister, many are calling this a steady-as-she-goes budget, very much the status quo, but it does rely on a strong economy, including revenue from the property transfer tax staying the same, yet the housing market continues to cool in this province. How do you reconcile that?
Well, in fact, we've dropped the prediction for the property transfer tax. We lost about $300 million in this year, and so we've dropped it again in the upcoming budget, so it's already reduced down. The expectation is that it continues to reduce. We continue to look at affordability, and I'd certainly challenge anyone who thinks it's a stand-pat budget. If you're a student and all of a sudden you now don't have interest to pay on your student loans, or if you're a parent and a year from now you're going to see support for your children not up to the age of 6 as you do now, but in fact up to the age of 18 through the new child opportunity benefit. When it comes to climate action, it's probably the biggest piece that young people talk to us about getting on with action in our province. We've put a huge amount of money, almost $1 billion, into fighting climate change over the next number of years. So I'm very proud of this budget. I'm proud of the action we're taking, and I'm proud of the investments we're making in people, which will help us grow a strong economy.
We took questions earlier today from people around the province. A few things came up in the fact that there are a number of election promises that are not in this budget, including $10 a day childcare. Where do we stand with that? Is it still on the table?
In fact, we started the prototypes of $10 a day, so there are $10 a day childcare programs going on around British Columbia, but we also want to make sure that the quality is there. So we're going to do a review of those programs, we're going to do an evaluation, and then look at how we expand them. But in the meantime, parents are already finding savings. Parents are finding savings each and every month with the existing benefits that are there for childcare, and it's making a huge difference. When I talk to parents who all of a sudden find $350 every month in their budget that wasn't there before, that can be life-changing for a family who's just living paycheck to paycheck.
But will there be a day where everyone in this province pays $10 for childcare?
That's certainly our aim. It's a universal childcare program. As I've said, 7 to 10 years when it comes to implementation. You can't make that change overnight. We also need to make sure we have early childhood educators to provide that quality. So we're putting bursaries in place, we're providing more spaces at universities and colleges for people to train, and we're increasing the wages to make sure that they're recognized for the good quality work that they do.
And finally, the $400 rebate for renters, nowhere to be seen in this budget. A lot of questions around that. Why hasn't this happened yet? It was a big election promise.
We're continuing to work with our Green colleagues. We have a difference of opinion around the renters rebate, so we're continuing to work with them on this piece. But in the meantime, we're also supporting tenants in a whole number of ways. We reduced the rental increase that was allowed by 2%, which saved hundreds of dollars for tenants. We're putting in place support for rent banks for tenants who are on the risk of eviction because of nothing to do with them. They may have had an illness and not been able to work. And we're putting supports in place for low-income seniors and the working poor, people who are struggling, who are working, to provide them with more resources to be able to help them with rent supplements. So we started with the people most in need, and we'll continue those discussions with the Green Caucus.
Okay, Finance Minister Carole James, thank you very much.
Thank you.